I'm Malorie.
And I'm Greta.
This is Chalk It Out, where we spill the tea on what it's really like to be an educator.
Today we're going to be talking about private schools. So, Malorie, did you know that about 10% of students in the U.S. go to private schools?
I actually did not realize it was that high.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so you used to teach at a private school, right?
I sure did for 2 years.
Okay. Where was that?
Yeah, so OH. You're supposed to say IO. Try it again. OH.
IO.
Yes, exactly. So we were in Ohio, Ohio State fans. Very fun. I'm sure very similar to Georgia experience with football. 102,000.
Go Dogs.
Boo. About 102,000 people inside the stadium. And I would say, I don't even know how many thousands of people were outside the stadium watching the games on the TV. It was so fun.
So I'm at the University of Georgia. So big football state, big football community for sure.
It's fun. I was like, I'm kind of glad I didn't go to school there. I don't know I would have graduated, to be honest. It was a lot of fun. So yes, anyhow, I did teach at a private school. After Virginia for 5 years, we moved to Ohio. I decided I was just going to work part-time because the cost of living is very reasonable there. So
Okay.
I was like, I'm just going to work part-time as an interventionist. And you're an interventionist as well, right?
Yeah. So I was a math and reading interventionist.
Okay. I did a little math and reading too. One of my students had Down syndrome, the sweetest little boy ever. But I was happy because the private school, it was a Catholic school, made room for him and just accommodated his needs. So it was very cool.
That's nice. So what was your experience like being an interventionist at a private school?
Yes. I actually loved it. Parents were very kind to me. They were so grateful. I would get little gifts. And then the kid with Down syndrome, all the kids were so nice to him. They would like cheer him on at football games, basketball. They let him score a basket and like picked him up. Very sweet. Would do like secret handshakes with him. So the students were the sweetest kids ever. And then the parents were towards me too.
Yeah. And I think that I had a similar experience too with parents who wants extra help for their kids are just so grateful to get it no matter how whether it's a teacher doing an in-class intervention or whether it's a formal intervention. I think that's really nice. What about support from the school itself? One of the challenges we had as a math interventionist is that there weren't a lot of other schools using math interventionists. And so it was really difficult to collaborate and figure out what's the best curriculum to use, what's the best place to start in assessing their math understanding.
Oh, yeah. I know. I think I mainly focused on reading. We did a little math with first grade, but I had 6 first graders, and we really just honestly worked on reading every day for 1 hour. And so...
Whoa, 1 hour?
Yes. And so by the end of the year, they were above grade level. It was amazing, but they were just the sweetest. Yeah, math, I didn't really actually do a lot within math. I helped 3rd grade math a little bit. That was more like memorization of facts, though, to be honest.
Okay. So I feel like a typical intervention group time in public schools is 20 to 40 minutes if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Like 40 minutes if you're lucky. But teachers are often like, I got 20 minutes, you can take this kid. And that's it. 30 minutes is maybe the norm.
Probably 30 to an hour every time.
Wow.
Yes.
Talk about growth.
Yes. Yeah. The parents were very thrilled at the end, and so was I, though. Which leads me to my cute story of the day.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So one of the first graders that I worked with every day, for that whole year, I was, I think, about 6 months pregnant. So I was showing, right, with Isaiah. And the little girl comes in just so excited, like smiling. And she's like, your baby is growing like a weed, and gave me like this huge hug and was just clapping, just so excited. I was like, yes, the baby is growing like a weed.
That is so funny.
So very cute.
Love the metaphor there.
Yeah. And they wore uniforms. So I have to get into that because I find Catholic school uniforms adorable. So yeah, but tell us about yours.
I have pretty strong feelings about uniforms. Don't tell me what to wear.
Ooh.
That's so annoying to me. None of the schools I went to had uniforms. None of the schools I've ever taught at have had uniforms. But we had more dress code, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think that I would be extremely annoyed if I couldn't wear what I wanted to wear.
Oh, I'm into fashion too. There's no way. But I did think they were adorably cute. And then I think for kids who don't have a lot of money, that might be a good reason for them, though, because everyone dresses the same.
Yeah.
That'd be my only thing, but I'm with you.
When I worked at the first school I worked at in Colorado, a lot of our students were Hispanic, and most of them came from Mexico, and it's kind of the norm there to wear uniforms. And so a lot of them were asking about that, kind of wanting that. And I do think it can be really good for low income families too. So it's kind of level sets everything.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool. And then, so after that first year of intervention, I was pregnant, had Isaiah, and I know you know everything about Isaiah, but for those listening, we found out at, what was it, 34 weeks, I want to say, somewhere around there, that he had a stroke. So they rushed us to Children's. We met with a neurologist and everything, and they always give you the worst case scenario. So they're like, the kid might not read, he might not walk, all those things. And so you're like, what is happening all so fast?
Yeah, I can't imagine how terrifying that would be.
Horribly terrible. And everything was fine up to that point. So it's just like, what? Just
Talk about life-changing news, yeah.
And poor John had left that appointment. We thought everything was fine. It was supposed to be one of our final appointments. He left to go back to work. And then she's like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do one last ultrasound because you're measuring a little larger. Well, you didn't think really much of it. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I was by myself. Terrifying. We were in 2 separate hospitals when he was born. They took him immediately to Children's because they thought he was going to have a shunt placed in his head. Luckily, he did not have to. And the kid was 9 pounds, 3 ounces, like the biggest kid in the NICU with all kinds of hair. So it was very dramatic, I would say. But everything's going well now. So
that's so good.
But because of that, I had him. My parents, they're from Colorado. I'm from Colorado. So they moved to Ohio.
Oh, I didn't know that. To help out?
To help out. And I begged them to stay because I was like, I don't think I can do this on my own with John. Like, it was just so much because they were like, you're going to need PT and speech and starting at 3 months. And so.
God, how overwhelming.
Yeah. It was terrifying, especially as your first child. You're like, wait, what? So thank goodness for my parents. They moved and I was like, my dad, can you please help me take care of Isaiah? I will go back to work full time. I just want you here for at least a year. I just got to get through a year. And so he did that. My mom, bless her too. She's a realtor, as you know, so she sells real estate. She decided to stay there and she actually loaded groceries at grocery stores just so she can stay with us for a year. So very grateful for them. Yeah. But on that note, I ended up getting hired at another private school full time as a 3rd grade teacher. So I started, I think it was in October. So the year had already gotten started. The current teacher got breast cancer. So she was taking time off, and so I filled her place. But that was an amazing experience. I think that was one of my favorite years of teaching.
Really?
Yes. The principal was a nun. I'll call her Sister M&M, so I don't give away her name.
Okay.
Sister M&M. So
was she a kind nun?
She was.
Okay.
I was always a little nervous around her, but so kind, the kindest heart. And the best part is she was like, you are the teacher. You know what you were doing. You plan how you want to plan. You assess how you want to assess. Like, this is great. And so my co-teacher and we would get together and talk things through, but pretty much I was kind of on my own and I enjoyed it. So
that's amazing. Yeah. Having freedom to do what you know is right as a teacher is just so amazing, and it makes your experience so much better.
Yes. I think you have to have trust in the person, and I think you have to gain that, but I do 100% that teachers know what they are doing. I hope so.
Yeah. And most do. And
just a little guidance or coaching, but
one would hope that if you were feeling lost, that you had access to coaches and stuff like that. Did you guys have instructional coaches at private school?
We did not. I didn't even really honestly know that was a thing when I was in Virginia, obviously. Yes. But private schools, no, they're very much like, this is your place. This is your room, your culture. You do it how you want to do it.
Yeah.
We did have curriculum, though. Common Core had just came out around that time. And so the school did switch to some Common Core standards. And I forget what the math curriculum was that we used. But yeah, it was easy.
You know what I don't remember? So I attended a private school in middle school and high school. And I don't remember administration ever coming in and observing.
Yeah, me neither until I moved to Colorado.
I wonder if they did that and I just didn't pay attention, but I feel like you would kind of know.
Catholic schools definitely never did, maybe because my jobs were unique in those times. Virginia, maybe once a year, but they never really came in.
So for parents listening, you might not be familiar with the Colorado evaluation system. So for probationary teachers, you have to have 4 informal observations, which is 15 minutes, and then 2 formal observations, which are 40 or 45 minutes. And then you're scored on this really gigantic rubric and you have to get all the clicks. You'll hear teachers referring to, oh, I got this click or that click. I need 4 more clicks or whatever to like be proficient.
Yeah, it's very stressful.
It's very stressful. And then you have that, and then you have it's called a student learning objective, or an SLO for short. And it's like a way to capture data basically and show growth. And so if you meet your student learning objective, that factors into your evaluation as well.
Mm-hmm. It's like a percentage of it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Virginia, I don't remember. That's so strange to me, actually. I don't even remember the evaluation process. I'd get like cute little notes from my principal, like, awesome job. Never a lot of feedback.
Interesting.
And I feel like Colorado, they're definitely giving you feedback, which I do like feedback if it's legit and something I can work towards and they're supportive.
And I will say sometimes though, I've had many evaluators that come in and say a lot of great things and then they like don't really give me any feedback or they ask a question that's kind of dumb. And I'm just like, you just asked a question to ask a question because you needed to feel like you were doing something here.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I want it to be authentic.
For sure. And like, there's always something we can work on.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. There's definitely some calls to revamp the Colorado evaluation system. So I wonder, and I will have to do some more digging into that, maybe a future episode.
True. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. So tell me, I know you went to private school, right?
Yeah.
And tell us why your parents sent you to private school. I'm so curious.
I can't really say for sure, other than I think my mother just thought that it was a better educational experience. I think she was nervous about public schools and they're being so big. Like we didn't have any small public schools. Like they were large high schools, and like I went to a public elementary school and I had a great experience. But my mom was definitely the person that would go into the principal's office and cry until she got the teacher she wanted me to have.
Ooh, I can see myself doing that. Maybe.
She was a little dramatic about it. I won't lie, but she just cared very deeply. And so then I went to private school, middle and high school, and it was a small school. So I think that she just really wanted us to have a good education. My brother went for middle school and then ended up requesting to go back to public school for high school. Okay. I think he was, I think it was because of the swim team that his high school offered. So it was like more of the sports he wanted. And then he just, like, a lot of his friends were there. I think he just wanted the bigger school environment. Mm-hmm. And I dare say my brother is maybe more academic than I am because he went on to get his master's in hydrogeology and is
legend. I like it.
Yeah. And now he's a park ranger at the National Park System, which is cool. Yeah. But he is brilliant. So, yeah, I think either way, we both turned out great.
Yeah, exactly.
And just had different experiences.
I think it depends on the child, obviously, as well, too, and what your needs are, and if you have money, because tuition can be very pricey at some.
Yeah, we were on financial aid and got student loans for high school, which is ridiculous. That is. If I had known that, I think I would have been like, no, dude.
It's just dedication to your family, though. I like it. They want what's best.
Yeah. But I do remember we all got laptops in high school, and that was like a big thing because that wasn't like a part of education until then. Because I think that was 2002 because I graduated in 2006. So we got laptops maybe in 8th grade, so 2001. And that was huge because I just remember writing papers on that and then going to the help desk because I was always breaking mine.
You're really showing your age. I'm a little older. We're not going to talk about how much older.
It's okay. We grew up at the best time.
Exactly. That's why we have so much fun.
Yes. Millennials, man. Mm-hmm. Although, are you a millennial or are you a Gen X?
I think technically I'm a millennial. I don't know. Like you're
just going to claim it.
Exactly. I am what I am, people.
No, you're a millennial.
Mm-hmm. I will say, though, when I taught in the 3rd grade classroom, those students were so well behaved. No referrals. My worst behavior was a kid that would just read when I was teaching and during independent time. And I'd be like, please put the book down, But I'm like, this is great. A kid that wants to read, that's my behavior. Completely different than
for sure
most private schools, or public schools, I would say.
Yeah, and I think that it's because you have typically middle to high income families, and the expectations for those kids that their parents put on them is just maybe a little bit different, and they don't have as much residual trauma going into to school, and so they're able to regulate themselves a little bit better. Although I will say, some of the kids in my high school were crazy in very different ways. They
I believe that.
were left home alone in their big mansions and were drinking at school still. Lots of instead of smoking weed, they were doing other drugs,
Okay.
we'll say.
I could say that, yeah.
So it's just like a different kind of
Issues, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other thing, we had one black kid in our grade.
Not diverse.
Not
100%.
diverse.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's a huge drawback for private schools, is because you grow up in a bubble and you don't learn about different perspectives. You don't learn about different ways of life. You don't learn about other cultures. And you just think that this is how the world is everyone around you is white. And that's not the reality of the world. And
not
I
at
think
all.
it does a disservice to kids.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me too on just even students with disabilities, because within Isaiah, he's going into middle school and the pressure and trying to find the right school for him. But heartbreaking, because Colorado will not accept students with disabilities. A lot of private schools won't. I've gone to about 6, and we're told no because he's not on grade level. And to me, I'm like, you think of how far we've come, but still there's so much more work to do to be inclusive in schools and in the world.
That is not right. You shouldn't be able to reject a student at all. And I think that's another reason why I have strong feelings against private schools at my age now, just from working in public schools, is because it's not okay to do that.
Yeah. And it doesn't take a lot to accommodate his needs. They just need to hire an interventionist part-time to work with him. And I'm sure others would benefit as well. So
yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about pros and cons then, private schools. We've kind of listed some.
Okay. So pros, usually small class size.
Definitely. Small class size. Yep.
High expectations, I think, is the norm, when you would hope that would be at public schools, high expectations too. But oftentimes I think there's a lot of bias and stuff that can get in the way of universally high expectations.
Yes. I was going to say strong community within parents, which sometimes that can be a little too much if you're the teacher. I did have a parent who was, I think the husband was an ER doctor, and she was, I believe, a lawyer or a judge. Can't remember, but they were weekly, coming into my room, why did my student not get an A+? They want an A+ on everything. And I'm like, whew. So luckily that's when I learned I got to stick my ground. I have to have my data to prove, my viewpoint. And so that helped me. But parents can be very aggressive, I feel like, until they get to know you. And then it's like, okay. But strong community, they go to every event and they want to help out. So love that.
Yeah, I think that's huge. And if you have a strong PTA, you can really supplement school funding too, because private schools, they're expensive. I think the teachers don't get paid that much. Is that true?
Yes. Well, at least in Catholic schools, you do not get paid, I would say, maybe a third of what you get
In a public school?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I would also say the lack of union representation. I think one of the great things about public schools, and if you're lucky to work at a school with a strong union, is that collective bargaining and that power that you have together as a collection of teachers or educators, I should say. Private schools teachers, they don't have that bargaining power.
No, we definitely do not. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then some other cons. Can you think of anything else? I think we listed on diversity, students with disabilities. Might have to wear a uniform.
The tuition.
Well, ain't that the truth? Yeah.
The money. I mean, some private schools cost $50,000 a year.
Yeah. When
Which
we
is
were
more than
looking,
college. Well, maybe not anymore. I don't know.
Catholic schools are 6 to 8, but then some of those other private schools got up to 36,000, 42,000.
That's
So
insane.
I just can't imagine if you sent your child K through 12 at a private school.
Yeah. And then what if your kid got bad grades and messed around and you're like, dude, I'm paying $30,000 a year for you. But then they're like, I'm in 4th grade.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Tried my best.
I don't know. I feel like that would create tension.
Yeah. And I will say, at least the schools I worked at, and from what I hear, trying to get Isaiah into schools, students are all on grade level, which on a teacher side, the things you can do, with the differentiation and really get them to excel in learning. Which,
sure.
Again, public schools offer similar things though. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So all in all, I think if private school is right for you and your family, I think that's great. But I'm pro public school all the way.
I would totally send Isaiah to a private school. Again, I think it depends on your child too. My other two, totally fine in a public school, but with Isaiah's needs, I would love to send him to a smaller classroom size school environment.
For sure. And let's take note that I don't have kids, nor am I ever planning to have kids. So take what I say with a grain of salt, because I don't have that parent lens. I just have the teacher lens on it.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, we are so happy to have you guys here. Please let us know if you have any thoughts on public schools or private schools. We didn't even talk about charter schools and magnet schools. And so we will get into that in a future episode, because that is a whole other nuanced thing.
For sure. Yes. And then I think next time we'll be talking about IEPs and ALPs.
Yes, IEPs and ALPs. So if you don't know what those are, tune in next time and we'll tell you.